We're super excited to announce a partnership with a new company called Creepy Crate. They're a meal subscription service, and they mail you boxes every other month. Inside these boxes are true crime goodies, horror movie collectibles, and other items that are exclusive to Creepy Crate that you can't find anywhere else. It's super awesome, and it's a really great gift for yourself or that true crime fan in your life. If you use our promo code GODDAMN at their website, creepycrate.store, you'll receive $5 off your subscription. And they've been kind enough to give us a box to give away to one of our listeners. So if you leave us a review on iTunes, you'll be automatically entered to win the Creepy Crate. Don't worry, if you already reviewed us, you're already in the drawing. If you don't have an Apple device, you can create an iTunes account on your desktop and review us from there. You have until November 30th to leave the review to be entered to win, and we'll announce a winner on December 2nd. May the odds be ever in your favor.
God damn!
So how's Red Dead going?
Dear God. It's the best game I've ever played in my entire life.
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, you took the whole day off for it, so I would imagine it is.
Yeah.
It sounds awesome.
Yeah, I didn't even respond to half your texts today because I was just about it.
I knew. I understood.
Yeah.
I
Brandon was
wasn't
like,
crushed.
you have 17 messages from Stacey. And I'm like, she can wait.
I'm trying to shoot people on my horse.
Yeah, I have to get my thoroughbred.
That's awesome.
I spent too long trying to decide which mane and tail design for my
it's
horse.
like, it's like playing The Sims.
Yeah, and then I was like, this is it. I got it. And it was like $4.50. And I was like, nah.
That's too much.
Because it's cowboy times. So the money is less. And it's like, you have $12. And I'm like, what if I need that later?
Yeah, but your horse would look bitchin'.
Yeah. Yeah. You can dreadlock your horse's mane and tail.
That's ridiculous.
It looks so gross. And I was like, who wants this?
In like Western
someone.
times, did they dreadlock?
I don't know.
Horses' manes.
This is my Rasta horse.
In Western times. Like, if you're in the West, it's always Western times.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, you know, how Tombstone is, but everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
In the spirit of that, I tried to find a story that was an Old West cowboy murder haunting.
Oh, good. You're taking it all the way.
Yeah, I didn't.
Oh. Well, it's the effort that counts.
Yeah, it was there. The thought was there, and I was like, this is going to be so great. And then I couldn't find anything that wasn't like fucking Billy the Kid.
Yeah, where you're like, meh, meh,
Yeah.
we've heard this.
Yeah, and then I was like, well, maybe they'll have a good mystery. And it's like, oh, fucking Bullet Bill or somebody, like, they don't know if he actually died when they hanged him. And I'm like, whoa.
I mean, like, did you bury him?
Yeah, and then they did. And so then, of course, they did, like, you know, exhumations. And they're like, well, it's his DNA. And then other people are like, it just means it's his family's DNA. It's not really him.
Oh, but it's for sure him.
I mean, it probably is. I don't know.
Not
it
as
wasn't
mysterious.
It wasn't enough to be like, I'm going to make a podcast out of this.
Yeah, I can talk for 20 minutes to this.
Yeah. No. I pretty much just told you the story. You guys got an extra one.
I get so excited when I think of like, oh, I'm going to think of this theme or something, which is kind of morbid when you think about what we're talking about. And by kind of, I mean really.
It's super morbid, but also you can kind of cherry pick with the amount of murders and craziness in the world now. You can be like, I want something where like a guy
had one leg.
Yeah, the peg leg murderer. And you search that and they're like, yeah,
There's
happened.
10 of them.
Yeah. Choose one. You're like,
I can't believe how much information is out there. My gosh.
Seriously.
Like somebody took the time to be like, the world needs to know.
Also,
Yeah?
yesterday,
Uh-huh.
because I don't know what day it is
Yeah,
anymore.
you've lost track of time real bad. All from video games.
But I learned something new yesterday that I need to share with you.
Ooh, I'm excited. I'm about to get more knowledgeable.
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
I learned what a telegram is.
Oh! Well, I mean, our basic understanding is correct, right?
It's kind of correct, but not fully correct.
Okay.
So, like, we were like, it's a guy that delivers a message, right? But, like, why wouldn't you just call a person?
Yeah, but it says stop at the end. I
No.
don't know why that's important, but
No.
you need to know that I know that.
No. It doesn't. Do you want to know what a telegram is?
Yeah, I do.
So it's when you have like a very important message to tell a person, like if there was important news, like a death or something that wanted to be notarized or something official, like some kind of official news that you wanted to tell a person, then you would call, like, and they're in Chicago or something.
Yeah.
So then you would call the fucking office, or you
Chicago
would go
telegram.
down to the office, like it's like a post office, but it's a telegram office. He kept calling it a word, and I was like, I'll remember that. I didn't remember that. By he, I mean my boss. I was like, hey, what's a telegram?
Ooh.
And he was like, are you serious right now? And I was like, I'm just curious.
I get the loose understanding.
Yeah. He's like, so he explained it in great detail to me. But, like, you would go down to your local post office, and you're like, this is my message. And they're like, got it. So then they type it up on a telefax, I think is what he kept calling it, a telefax thing. And then they take that, and they essentially fax it, but not fax it to, like, fucking Chicago or whatever other place you want it to go. And then they take it off. He did the motion, like, zip, zipped it off the machine.
Like a receipt?
Yeah, like you remember the not Xerox papers, but the with all the holes in the sides?
Yeah, like
I don't
the
think
carbon
that's
copies.
what it was. Yeah,
Whatever,
I don't think
NCR.
that's what it was, but that's what I pictured when he zipped it off. So then they take that, and then they hand deliver that from there. So it's like a post office, but it's faster because it's like through a fax type of line.
Oh. I still feel like our basic understanding was correct.
Yeah,
just I didn't know all the steps it took to get there.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I'm cool with it.
So anyway, Stacey, hello.
Hi.
Welcome to episode 9.
It's 9
This is the 9th episode.
of our show. I said goddamn.
I said goddamn. I'd call it a podcast, not a show.
Yeah. I mean, it's a show in your room, though, every time we record.
It is a goddamn show in our room.
It's a goddamn shit show.
Ew. Anyway, Stacey,
Yes,
do you
Erin.
have any goddams?
Let me give you my goddamn. So this week, I have now taken the title from you and have earned Mother of the Year award.
Oh, yay! I'm finally not in the spotlight for messing up my child.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so in the middle of the week this week, we get home from work, and Lee and I are having a conversation in the kitchen, and my son is, like, running around the house having a good old time, and he's, at this point, in the kitchen with us, and Lee and I are really deep in conversation. I notice out of the corner of my eye that he's kind of leaning into the trash can, and we have a trash can with a lid on it, so he had opened the lid up and was leaning into the trash can a little bit, and his little arm was reaching in.
Oh, no.
Yep. And I stopped my conversation with Lee and I was like, hey, don't play in the trash can. And he pulls his arm up really fast and he shoves whatever it is in his mouth.
No.
And he looks at us like, ha, gotcha.
Got him. What are you going to do, dig it out?
Yeah, Lee and I go, no, like at the same time right as he did it. And I'm like, spit it out. And so he opens his mouth and a bunch of coffee grounds just fall down his like face and body.
Ew.
And Lee and I start laughing so hard because his face is all distorted like, ugh, this tastes terrible.
Yeah.
And it's coffee grounds, so it has coated his mouth. And you can't just spit those out. And he's like struggling, like trying to pull it out, like, ugh, what have I done? And we were laughing so hard. It was like the silent laughter where you're like bent over and crying because we're like, what have we done? What is going on?
Just gave your kid like a straight shot of caffeine.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And who knows what else was in that trash can? Like, for sure he has salmonella now.
Oh, absolutely.
But then we had to, our sink has like one of the faucet pulls away kind of like a sprayer.
Yeah.
And so we had to like spray his mouth out with that. And he thought it was really fun and funny by that point. But literally my child ate something from the trash can. So I now have earned Mother of the Year award.
You've taken it from me. I had it for a couple weeks in a row there, though, so.
We'll just pass it back and forth.
Yeah.
Oh, good damn.
I said goddamn. That sucks.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it wasn't too bad, but. Okay, Erin, hit me with your goddamn.
You know what? I don't really have one.
Have one? It's been glorious. Well, your good goddamn would be that you got Red Dead and now you get to play it.
Yeah, that's my good goddamn, is that I'm not being a mom at all this weekend or today, because I took the day off of work and I still sent my kid to daycare, and I was like, peace be with you, good luck, I'll miss you.
That's awesome.
Mommy's busy.
You're allowed to have good goddams.
Yeah, well,
Good
that's
goddamns,
mine
okay.
then, is that this is something that I've been waiting for like 2 years, at least.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know this deeply impacted you so bad.
Oh my god, you have no idea. Like, I finished the first one, and I didn't play it until, like, way later after, like, years after it came out. I don't know why. Brandon got it when it first came out, and he played it, and I loved watching him, but I was like, I wouldn't want to play it, though. And then I would always, like, take it and ride his horse around, and he's like, I have to get to the other side of the map. Just follow this line, and I would always do it. Because I was like, this is so much fun.
By the way, I'm going to forage all this stuff along the way.
And I would pick all of the flowers and shoot all of the birds, and then as soon as, like, I don't know, someone was like,
came.
Yeah, someone's like, hey, I'm gonna rape this lady, I'd be like, ah, and I'd pause it and give it to Brandon, like, kill them, they're being mean.
I did the same thing on Lee's account, but you know how, like, when you first play on your own account, you get the tutorials on how to use the fucking weapons and shit?
Yep.
Well, every time I would play on Lee's account, I didn't know that. So I would get, like, sweaty and pissed, and Lee would have to help me, like, walk me through, like, you have to click this button and then this button. And I'm like, oh my God, how do you know this? You're a genius. And he's like, oh, I get the tutorials when I play first. And I'm like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, I just had to do, there was one campaign thing or whatever, not campaign, quest, I don't know what the fuck they're called.
Uh-huh.
And it was like, you had to fight a guy, and I was literally just like, what's the punch button? 0 or O circle? And then I just mashed that, and it's like square blocks, and I'm like, fuck squares.
I don't need to block shit.
Yeah, I'm just gonna punch the shit out of this guy. You miss all the shots you don't take. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. And then you died, didn't you?
No, actually, I made it.
Well, I'm glad that your goddamn is good this week.
Me too.
Gotta spruce up this sad content.
Yeah, there's still some good in this world.
Yeah, video games. Okay, so
is it your turn to go first?
Fuck you. You're going first this time. You made me go first a couple times in a row, which, to be honest, I didn't even notice. So if you didn't bring it up to me, I would have gone first again today. Okay, Erin, give me your fucked up story. I just want to say before you get started, though,
okay,
that I'm sleeping so good lately. Like, I'm getting good at reading this stuff and researching and then putting it out of my mind. But after we record these, I never sleep on Friday nights.
First of all, fuck you, because your story last week fucked me up. I always sleep like a baby after these. I don't know if it's no conscience, or I just block it out. I don't think about this kind of stuff. But that goddamn ballpoint pen in his ear.
Oh, I was like, what was the story last week?
I was laying on one side, and my ear was exposed, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? So then I flipped over to the other side, which, guess what? Exposes my other ear.
Yeah, naturally. Just sleep with a pillow over your face.
I had to sleep on my back, which I'm not accustomed to, but it was the only way that I could get my pillow to, like, fluff up and cover both my ears. This doesn't happen to me. I was so mad at you.
It's like when you're little, or that happened to me when I was little and I learned about vampires. Like, I couldn't sleep with my neck exposed for the longest time.
Okay, so my story is about Dorothy Jane Scott.
Ooh, okay.
Mm-hmm. She resided in Anaheim, California. She was a 32-year-old lady. She was a single mom who lived with her aunt. Her son was 4 years old.
Okay.
Don't worry, Katie. He does not play a part in this. So,
no babies are harmed in this story.
No babies are harmed in the making of this story. So, May 28th, 1980, she drops her 4-year-old son off with her parents and goes to an employee meeting at her place of business, which is called Swingers Psych and Head Shop.
Ooh.
Yeah, because it was the 80s. It was the 80, just one. It was 1980.
The beginning of the 80.
It was the beginning of 80. And apparently that was the thing. She was a secretary, though. Nothing exciting.
Oh, what happens at one of those?
They sell water pipes.
Uh-huh.
And they sell blacklight posters.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know what the swingers part is.
Okay.
But it's like 2 shops that were combined into one by one owner. Or one owner owned 2 shops, and she was the secretary for them. But it was like 2 separate places.
What would you need a secretary for at one of those?
I don't know. Cooking your books.
Can you? Okay.
Got him. But she was a good person.
Okay. Got it.
So this employee meeting happened at 9:30 at night.
Ugh.
And yeah, I know. Awful, right?
No way.
But I imagine one of those places closes at like 9, maybe? So then it was after it closed.
Uh-huh.
And then during the meeting at some point, she notices that this guy, one of her coworkers named Conrad Bostrom, his arm is really red, and he's all agitated and stuff, and he's like, Looks like he's in a lot of pain, and other employees said that he was, like, writhing around like a boa constrictor type thing.
What does that mean?
I don't know. But so then
Well,
she
slithering on the floor.
Yeah,
and shit.
like I don't know. I imagine, like, scooting in your chair, like, I don't feel good. Like wiggling.
Like a boa constrictor. It's like wrapping himself around people.
So then she offers, like, she stops the meeting and is like, yo, dude, you all right? And he's like, I don't feel so very good. And she's like,
Oh
sees
my God.
this red mark on his arm, and she's like, you need to go to the ER. Like, do you want me to take you to the ER? And he's like, sure, whatevs. And so then this other lady, Pam Head, she's like, I'll also go with you.
Uh-huh.
And so they go to the ER. So on the way to the ER, they stop at her parents' house so that she can check in on her son. And they didn't say this, but I assume to be like, hey, I'm going to take this guy to the hospital. I might be a little bit longer.
Yeah, I'm longer than I expected.
Yeah, because that's what a normal person would do, but it was like the 80s, so she couldn't just call, I guess.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, without a landline, and she's like driving to the hospital.
Got
At
it,
any rate,
got
so
it.
they stopped there. While she was at her parents' house, she was wearing a black scarf. She changed it to a red scarf. I don't know why she changed it.
Wardrobe change.
But she did. Yeah,
Okay.
like this guy's just fucking dying in your back seat. And so she's like, let me check on my son and do a quick wardrobe change.
She's like, oh, I can't believe I left the house in this scarf.
This doesn't match at all.
Okay.
So they get to the hospital and he's diagnosed. He was bitten by a black widow.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but he was treated and gonna be sent home.
Fuck that. That's like one of my fears.
Yeah, me too, mostly because spiders fuck that.
Yeah.
So while they're waiting for him to get diagnosed and treated and all of that, Dorothy and Pam are in the hospital lobby. They're reading magazines. They're talking to each other. They're just hanging out. Like, that was...
Having a good old time
Yeah,
in the
they're
waiting
just-
room.
Yeah, waiting for him.
Yeah.
And according to Pam, Dorothy was never out of her sight.
Okay.
At 11:30, Conrad gets dismissed, and so him and Pam go to fill out the prescription, and Dorothy is like, let me pull the car around, because she's on the drove, right? So she's like, let me pull the car around so you don't have to walk very far.
Uh-huh.
It was very considerate.
Yeah, very nice. Except for now you're alone.
Yeah, at 11:30 at night, and in a hospital parking lot.
I would do that, though. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm very considerate.
Yeah, exactly. I probably wouldn't, because I'd be like, no, it's murder time. You can hop on piggyback style. We'll go together. Okay, so they get finished with their prescription. They're waiting, and they're like, where the hell is she, right? This is taking, like, longer than you would expect.
Yeah.
They go outside to wait for her, and then they, like, oh, finally, they see her car pulling up. Well, it's pulling up really fast, and looks like it doesn't have any intention to stop. And so they're like, hey, what the hell, man? So
I'm
they, like,
here.
yeah, they, like, flag her down, and then well, they don't know if it was she, because the headlights are on. They couldn't see in the car,
Yeah.
and the car just speeds by. And they're like, what the hell? And they're, like, trying to flag her down, and they tried to, like, run after the car, I guess.
Oh, my God.
But it just sped up and pulled out of the parking lot and
Uh-oh.
was gone.
Uh-oh.
And they're like, well, maybe there was, like, an emergency with her son or something.
But how would she know?
That's true. Because there were no cell phones.
She just knew mother's intuition.
Yeah, mother's intuition. She's like, I have to go. My spidey senses are tingling. Well, that was kind of what they assumed, and so they waited for around 2 hours.
What?
And then they're like, I don't think she's coming back.
Oh, my God.
So they tell hotel security, and they call her parents and are like, hey, did she go home? Like, what's up? And the
Yeah.
parents are like, no, we haven't seen her.
Oh, my gosh.
So they file a missing persons report, but I guess in the 80 in Anaheim, there was, like, a lot of crime and stuff, and so they're just like, whatever. I mean, we'll let you know if we find anything.
Add it to the list.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's sad.
Until about 4:30 in the morning, they find her white station wagon about 10 miles from the hospital in an alleyway on fire. And
Oh, no.
there's- Yeah, and there's no sign of her anywhere.
Okay.
So they're like, well, maybe this
She's
is
not,
a
like,
little
in the
fishy.
car?
Nope. She wasn't in the car. She wasn't
Okay.
around it. And they're
Okay.
like, that's fishy.
Yep.
I guess we'll look into it.
Somebody set this on fire.
Yeah. So they start an investigation, and it turns out that Dorothy had been getting phone calls from an anonymous man.
Hmm.
Sometimes he would profess his love to her. It was while she was at work, too.
Oh, creepy.
Yeah, sometimes he would profess his love to her. Other times he would threaten her, and he would always have details of, like, her day-to-day life. So, like,
No.
what she was wearing.
No,
or,
no. That's not
like,
cool.
where she went and stuff. So she had a fucking psycho stalker.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's awful. That's terrifying.
Yeah. And
Fucking
she
creepy.
apparently was, like, felt threatened enough or was scared enough that she started taking a karate class, like, a week before this disappearance.
Oh, my God.
And she was considering getting a handgun.
Holy shit, that's serious.
Yeah. She didn't get the handgun, but she did start the karate classes.
Okay.
But, I mean, obviously she was really freaked out by it.
That's so scary.
One quote from the guy, according to her mom, who she had told about the calls and stuff, was, "Now you're going to come my way, and when I get you alone, I will cut you up into bits so no one will ever find you."
No.
Fucking right?
Why?
Scary guy.
And she didn't know who this guy was.
No, she said that she kind of recognized the voice, but she couldn't place it.
Oh my God, that's awful.
Yeah.
Why do people do this?
Because they're assholes.
That's
what this podcast should have been called, is The World is Filled with Assholes.
Yeah, because everyone's an asshole.
Yeah. So then a week after her disappearance, Dorothy's mom, Vera, which was my grandma's name, she got a call from a man asking if she was related to Dorothy. And so she's like, yeah. And he said, "I've got her," and hangs up.
No!
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Fucking asshole. So.
Super asshole.
Yeah.
Fucking asshole.
So the police had told the parents not to go public with the disappearance. I don't really know why, but that's what they said.
Oh.
Like, just don't give out the information yet. I don't know if they were like, we'll find this guy before you go public with it, not to tip him off. I'm not sure.
Or maybe it was like there was some pertinent information that would be integral to the investigation.
Yeah. Well,
They didn't want it public.
So the phone call to the mom was a week after the disappearance. So then a week after that, like, there was still no luck on the case. So then her dad, Jacob, was like, "Fuck you guys." And he calls the newspaper and tells them the whole story and has them run it.
Yeah, let's get some eyes on this.
Yeah, like, maybe someone knows something.
Yeah.
So then the day that the story ran in the newspaper received a phone call from an anonymous man saying, ready for this? Saying, "I killed her. I killed Dorothy Scott. She was my love. I caught her cheating with another man.
What?
She denied having someone else. I killed her."
Ew.
Yeah. He also gave specifics that weren't printed in the article, such as she had been wearing a black scarf to the employee meeting, but had changed it to the red one.
He fucking followed her.
He knew about the spider bite, about her coworker's spider bite.
Oh my God. How did he know that? Because they didn't even know. Or did they know it was a spider bite when they left?
Yeah, when they left the hospital, they knew.
Oh, no. I mean, when they left the employee meeting?
No, they didn't know at that point.
How did he know?
Yeah. Okay, so the caller also claimed that Dorothy had called him to tell him that she was at the hospital.
What?
But, yeah.
Oh.
But Pam was like, no, like, I was with her the whole time at the hospital. She never left my sight, except right before she went to get her car, she went to the bathroom. But that doesn't mean that she made a phone call or anything.
Yeah, there's no phone in the bathroom.
Especially in the 80s.
Yeah. It's funny every time.
My repetitive jokes. Trust me, they'll grow on you.
Yes.
So, Pam is like, no, she didn't call this guy. That guy's a liar. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It should also be noted that Dorothy didn't drink or do drugs. She was religious, and she didn't date.
Oh.
So...
But she had a kid.
Yeah.
So she did some.
Well, I mean, at one point, it was 4 years old.
Just saying. It.
He was 4 years old.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that at all.
Well, she was 32.
Yeah.
I mean, she wasn't dating at the time.
Gotcha.
Yeah, she wasn't like a saint, I'm sure. She worked at a freaking head shop.
But very solid point.
Yeah. But she didn't like partake in that lifestyle, and she wasn't dating anyone. So this guy's saying that, like, oh, she was my love, I caught her cheating. Like,
yeah,
she wasn't,
that's not true.
Yeah, she wasn't seeing anyone at all.
Yeah,
let
what a
alone
weirdo.
two people. So then, according to coworkers, Dorothy worked in the back office of the shop, so they think it was unlikely that it was a customer.
Oh, because they wouldn't have seen her.
Yeah.
She's secretary.
Exactly. The son's father had an alibi that he was in Missouri where he lives that night, so
Okay.
pretty solid.
Yeah.
Her parents consulted psychics. The police
Ooh.
consulted psychics.
Really?
They questioned everyone that she knew, but they got no leads.
Oh.
The case goes cold. Almost every single Wednesday for 4 years
Stop it.
after her disappearance, Dorothy's mom, Vera, gets a phone call from an anonymous man with a gruff and plainly disguised voice, sometimes asking for Dorothy, sometimes saying that he killed her, and sometimes saying that he has her.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Stop it.
Can you imagine your daughter goes missing?
No,
and then someone fucks
that's
with you?
terrible.
For 4 years?
Fuck that guy.
So the phone calls only stopped when the dad, Jacob, answered the phone one night.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they stopped, and the dad thinks that the man assumed that someone new moved into the house.
Oh.
And so he's like, it's not her anymore. I guess I'll stop fucking with her.
That's so fucked up. I was hoping maybe you would say, like, a particular person got arrested and then they stopped when he was in
Yeah, right?
jail.
Nope.
That's so sad.
The police had a tracker on Vera's phone, but the caller never stayed on the line long enough.
Oh, man. Every, like, movie, TV show, when they're like, keep him on the line.
Yeah, keep talking to him. Exactly. And I guess she had tried that, which I can't even imagine what you would say to this person who
God.
has something to do with your daughter's disappearance.
Oh, that's terrible.
Because
every Wednesday.
You can't even tell me that you wouldn't answer the phone. I would answer the phone every single time, hoping that maybe that time you'd get them to, spill something,
trying
right?
to catch. Yeah. Trying to catch them. But I also feel like mentally you should just leave the phone off the hook on Wednesdays.
Yeah, like for your own sanity.
Yeah.
Well, then 3.5 months after the last phone call that Jacob had answered, August 6th, 1984, a construction worker found remains 30 feet from the road.
No.
The remains were charred from a brush fire that had hit the area like 2 years before.
Oh, no.
So police are thinking, like, clearly
She's been here for a while.
Yeah, these remains had been here for 2 years.
How did he find it?
He's a construction worker. I don't know if he was doing a job out there.
Yeah.
So they investigate these remains, and they discover that it's a dog's remains. It's a dog's remains with Dorothy's under it.
What?
So Dorothy was there, and then there was like a thin layer of dirt or like earth, and then there was a dog's remains. I think that they were buried there on top of each other on purpose.
Oh, together.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's weird.
And I thought that would, which is not at all credible, but like if you had a cadaver dog or something and you're looking, maybe it would just see the dog and be like, oh, it's a dog's remains though.
Oh, to try to like make them confused?
Yeah, to like cover it more.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's a dead
bones,
thing.
but they're dog bones.
Yeah, exactly. But they had like,
oh my God,
dug
so he
into
had
it
to get
more.
a dog.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully the dog at least died from natural causes.
Maybe.
But on the remains, they found her turquoise ring and they found her watch. Her watch was stopped at 12:30 in the morning, May 29th. That's the night that she disappeared.
That's creepy. I have goosebumps.
Yeah.
Do they know, I mean, this is a lot of detail, but do they know, like, was it pulled out, like, stopped? Like, the pin was pulled out to make it stop? Or, like, it burned and it made it stop?
I don't know. It didn't say, but that's actually a really good question.
Creepy.
Yeah. She was identified, well, her mom identified those items, but then she was officially identified through the dental records, and they had an autopsy done, and they could not find her cause of death.
Oh, man. Was it just a skeletal remains?
Yeah. Like, they found a skull, they found 2 thigh bones, and, like, a torso and a pelvic bone or something like that.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So then, after it was announced that they found her remains, Vera received 2 more phone calls from the anonymous man asking, is Dorothy home?
What the fuck?
And
why?
I don't fucking know.
That's so weird. I don't like this one.
Yeah. And then Jacob Scott died in 1994, and Vera Scott died in 2002. And they have no idea what happened to their daughter.
Oh, my God.
I mean,
we don't know who that guy is.
No, he's fucking around, maybe.
Yeah, 80s wasn't that long ago.
Mm-mm.
And she was, like, in her 30s?
Yeah, she was 32.
Oh, my God. That makes me feel like, I mean, obviously anybody who commits a murder is mentally unstable, but he sounds really unstable to be calling and asking, like, is she home? And then I've killed her.
There was people that, like, psychologists or whatever, were talking to me about it. My buddy, the psychologist.
Ooh, look at you moving up. You're really committing to this whole podcast.
There were psychologists that were saying that a psychopath would generally want the, like, fame and not glory,
like
but
the notoriety for it.
Exactly, the notoriety, the fame from it, but they would contact, like, the newspaper or the police.
Yeah.
It's really rare that a person would contact the victim's family.
Oh, that's so weird.
Because at that point, like, that's a different kind of sick fuck in my mind. Like, you're...
Yeah.
Not only did you do this thing, but now you're also, like, rubbing salt in a wound, essentially.
I cannot believe they didn't catch him.
Yeah.
Like, they couldn't trace him. They couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
And she said that he sounded familiar.
Yeah. Like, none of her friends had an idea.
Yeah.
Maybe they did. I don't know. It didn't go into that
They
much
didn't go
detail
anywhere.
on that. But what was he doing every single Wednesday?
Calling her.
Yeah, but, like, what was happening on Wednesdays? Did he not have his kids on Wednesdays? Like, did he have free time on Wednesdays?
Well,
was it around the same time on
Was
Wednesdays?
she murdered on a Wednesday? That's what I was thinking happened. Like, she was
Oh.
murdered on a Wednesday, and so he called every Wednesday.
Jesus. I don't know. I guess we could figure it out. May 28th, 1980. What
Hold,
day
please.
was that?
I'll Google.
Okay.
It was a Wednesday. So that's why.
That's fucked up.
That's so fucked up.
So they also don't know when she actually died, just that it was at least 2 years before her body was found because of that brush fire. But
But that was 4 years after she died, right?
yeah,
84?
yeah. But I mean, for those 2 years before that, she could have been with him.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
No.
they don't know because they didn't find her. They didn't say like, and this is a well-traveled road or anything like that.
I'm
'cause
going to
obviously-
hope that she had already been dead.
Because
Because being held
yeah.
captive for 2 years and then murdered sounds terrible.
Yeah, sounds like you could have hope and then you don't because you.
Oh
get
my god, and then
died.
can you even imagine? Like, no thank you.
But also her watch was stopped, so
Yeah, but he could have, like, if it wasn't, like, burned or anything, he could have rewound it or whatever to that day and pulled the pin out to fuck with people.
I don't know anyone that would rewind something to May 28th, though.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't take any time at all with those old watches, you know?
Oh, that's true.
You know, like, he might have kept it as, like, a trophy or something.
Yeah,
and then...
you don't actually have to go around 365 times.
No, it's like 30. Like
Just
31, probably.
just a couple.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I remember how watches work.
Yeah. At least we have that going for us.
Yeah. So that's my story.
Wow, well, that's messed up.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I hope they... is it still, like, an open case or an
Yep.
open investigation?
But it is freezing cold.
I hope somebody looks at it and figures that shit out
Yeah.
somehow.
Maybe someone will shine some light on it from this. Because I had
Podcast?
never heard of it before.
Well, that would be really cool.
Yeah. That would be really cool. Guys
Well, goddamn.
and gals.
yeah, everybody go figure out who the fuck did that shit.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, are you ready for my story, Erin?
Stacey, I've never been more ready for anything in my life.
It's really awkward to have to use our names, huh?
I know.
But I'm sure the listeners appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, so my story this week is about John Martin Scripps,
All right.
and he is known as the tourist from hell. Okay, so John was born in Letchworth, Hertfordshire,
Ooh.
Hertfordshire,
Okay.
on December 9th, 1959.
Okay.
During his childhood, it was a good one. He traveled a bit, whatever, nothing like remarkable. He grew up with a really close relationship to his father.
Oh, that's good.
Uh-huh. And when John was 9, his father committed suicide.
Oh, fuck. That's not good.
That's not good. And he found his father's body.
No.
So-
That'll fuck a kid up.
After that, it fucked a kid up. Yeah. So once his father passed away, John started to develop problems with like reading and writing, and he dropped out of school, kind of became like a little bit of a bad apple.
Aww.
Obviously, yeah. Well, I guess not obviously, but still. What he would do is he would make money doing odd jobs around like the neighborhood and stuff, or for people he knew, and then he would take that money and he would travel,
Oh,
which sounds kind of cool, right?
yeah.
Like at 15 he was doing this.
What's mom doing? I guess it was a different time.
Yeah, it totally was a different time. And also, I just think, like, at 15, I wouldn't have thought, like, I'm going to make money and travel. I'd be like, I'm going to make money and eat candy bars.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get so much fast food.
Yep. Who wants McDonald's?
Yeah, and then I would have been stuck in that town because I wouldn't physically be able to get out of it.
Well, good thing this didn't happen to you.
Yeah, it is a good thing.
So at 15, like I said, he was gallivanting around friggin' town and shit and doing all this stuff. But he ended up getting sentenced a 12-month conditional discharge by the Gate Juvenile Court for stealing.
Okay.
So I had to look up what conditional discharge meant.
Is it like a community service type thing?
It's kind of like he's not really found guilty of the crime of stealing, or he's not punished for it. Maybe he's found guilty, but he's not punished for it. But if he commits another crime within the 12-month of his sentence that he was given, then he would face, like, being locked up.
So it's like probation.
Kind of, yeah, exactly. But they call it conditional discharge.
All right.
But basically, he was stealing shit, got caught, and he got in trouble.
Okay.
So by age 19, he had committed 3 more burglaries and was charged with indecent assault.
Oh.
Which is basically a sexual assault.
Oh.
So he was fined 40 pounds for that, which is about $50 US.
Okay.
I mean, roughly. It's not the exact translation. But this is the late 70s, so I'm sure that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
For this guy. But I mean, he stole
How
3
old
more
was he?
times. 19.
Ugh.
So he'd already stolen once when he was, well, he got caught for stealing when he was 15.
Yeah.
Then he stole 3 more times by the time he was 19 and was charged with indecent assault. And he was just fined $50 basically.
I feel like there should be some kind of a 3 strikes law on that one. But
yeah, but I guess, I mean, you know.
different time.
Okay, so 1980, jump ahead a decade.
Was it May 28th?
No, in the 80s. He's now 21 years old. He goes to Mexico during one of his little stints, one of his little traveling stints.
Uh-huh.
And he meets and marries Maria Arianos
Okay.
in Cancun, Mexico.
Ooh.
And they travel around for 2 years together.
All right.
Happily as can be new married couple. But in 1982, he ends up getting imprisoned for 3 years for burglary and resisting arrest.
What's this guy doing still burglaring? He's supposed to be a married man.
Like, it's just his life, man.
It's just can't change me. It's the way I am.
Just stealing shit. I imagine he wears a leather jacket.
Yeah. Is it a duster?
Okay, he's not a vampire. Okay, so while he's in prison for 3 years, he's granted home leave in 1985. So this is close to the end of his sentence.
Okay.
But he runs away from jail while he's on home leave.
Okay, I just can't believe how many of these stories that we have that are like, and then they let him out for a day. Or whatever.
Right? I know. I cannot get over this. You don't get home leave if you're in jail.
Yeah.
Like, today is your special day.
No.
I mean, and he literally was about to finish his sentence, and he ran away. And what did he do when he ran away?
Did he burgle some shit?
He sure enough did. He stole a bunch of shit. So they catch him, and they give him 3 more years of imprisonment because...
Fuck you, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Maria sees all this going down, and she's like, whoa, 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 you're a little too intense for me. Let's get a divorce. And she ends up marrying, right after John, she ends up marrying a police constable.
Oh, sorry. That's a very different lifestyle.
Yeah.
Very different man.
Oh, right? From, like, a con man to a policeman.
Yeah, it's like you're like, you know what I don't want? That. I'm going to go complete fucking opposite.
Exactly. Super weird.
Yeah.
But, you know. So this guy's name is Police Constable Ken Cold. And he was an officer in the Royal Protection Squad.
Ooh.
Another really awesome name.
Yeah. Where did this happen?
Actually, my little story didn't tell me where all this shit went down because it happened so often and he's traveling so much. Like, he obviously met her in Cancun in Mexico and they traveled around for a couple years and he kept stealing shit.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So John's still in prison for 3 years while she marries this man. John ends up getting out on home leave again.
And they didn't learn the first time that home leave doesn't work for this one?
Right? But, so while he's out on leave, he ends up stealing some of Ken's clothing as, like, a fuck you to him.
Oh. How did he get into, like, did he go in their house?
I
That's
don't know.
fucking scary.
He must have been, like, taunting Maria or some shit, and then was like, fuck you, Ken, and, like, stole his clothing.
Yeah. Well, I guess
know.
he's a really good burglar, except for all those times that he gets caught.
Yeah, except for all the time. But think about all the times he doesn't get caught.
Yeah.
I wonder what Ken was thinking. Was he like, what the fuck, dude?
Was he like, why am I married to a lady who was married to a fucking felon?
Right?
Essentially.
Or maybe John was, like, stealing some of his, like, police clothing.
Oh.
That would be a whole other issue.
That is a whole other issue.
But I didn't really find much on it. I didn't find out if he got in trouble for it either. Maybe Ken was just like, I see you seeing me.
All right.
So, in the end, Maria ends up divorcing Ken and moves back home, and then John seems to be happy with that and leaves her alone.
Oh.
Because he's an asshole.
I guess. So he was just, like, out to torment her, essentially.
I guess, yeah. And then once he got them to break up, he's like, all right, I can leave her alone. So, in 1987...
Mm-hmm. Good year. It's the year I was born.
It's the year I was born as well. So, in 1987, so now he's out for his previous sentence. He's out and he's
a free man.
He's a free man, and he goes to Singapore. And he ends up getting caught by the authorities because he's trafficking heroin between Asia and Europe.
Oh, solid career move.
What the fuck? Yeah. Instead of stealing, I'm going to sell drugs. So now he's selling drugs. He gets caught. And when they arrest him, they find a safety deposit key on him. And when they open that safety deposit, they find $1 million worth of heroin.
$1 million?
Which is 1.5 kilograms or 3.3 pounds. That's $1 million worth of heroin.
3.3 pounds. That's like...
How heavy is heroin?
Like density-wise?
Yeah. Oh, God.
Oh, man. That's really not... It doesn't sound like that's a lot.
Yeah, but it was a lot of money's worth. And it was a serious crime in Singapore. So they sentenced him to...
I'm pretty sure, like, in places like that, I don't know where...
Like, behead your ass?
Yeah, like, it's super illegal to have drugs. Like, you could be put to death or, like, imprisoned for...
Long time.
Yeah, long time for that kind of shit.
So he gets sentenced to 7 years in jail for having all this heroin.
All right.
And they grant him home leave again.
Fucking hell, man.
And he escapes again.
Obviously.
Obviously, he was found and he was rearrested.
Because he's the one white guy in fucking Singapore?
I actually don't know where this is. Does Singapore also give home leave? I thought maybe they, like, extradited him back to Britain. I didn't have, like, all of this information. It didn't tell me where he was sent. It wasn't that detailed. So
I assume Singapore is smart enough to not have home leave.
I would hope so.
But also, I'm pretty sure wherever you do the crime is where you would do the time.
Oh. Okay, so he gets sentenced to another 6 years for escaping, which means that he would have been locked up until 2001 if he hadn't escaped again.
Was this like the 4th time?
I don't even know. It's like the millionth time.
How did he escape this time? Was it home leave?
I'm going to tell you.
All right.
So between 1992 and 93, prior to his escape that I just mentioned, he ended up becoming a model prisoner, and I do remember now that this was somewhere in the UK. So it wasn't in Singapore, to answer your earlier question.
All right. That makes more sense.
He became a model prisoner, and he did jobs around the prison like dishwashing and cleaning and stuff. And he got promoted to butcher.
Ooh. I can see where this is going.
Yep. Where 2 inmates who had previously been butchers in their free life, James Quigley and Ginger, those are the 2 inmates.
Quigley just sounds like you're gonna commit crimes.
Sounds like an asshole, yeah. And then Ginger is like, for sure he was a redhead.
Maybe.
And they all called him Ginger. Unless it was a girl.
Yeah, but I don't think she would be in a men's prison. I assume they have them separated.
Yeah, I would believe that you are correct. So they taught him how to butcher and dismember animals after slaughter. And he became really good at it.
That's a good skill to have.
Yeah. So good that he wanted to open a butcher shop when he got out.
Oh, well, it's good to have dreams, especially a career choice like that.
Yeah, to go move forward with something.
Yeah.
But in 94, he escapes on home leave.
Okay. Son of a bitch.
Which was granted to him 2 days after being denied parole. So he had gone up for parole. They were like, nope, but guess what? We'll let you go home.
We won't let you leave forever, but we'll let you leave for a little while. Like, how long is home leave supposed to be?
I don't know. I imagine it's like a day trip.
That's so... How is
But how are you not, watched?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just trust him to come back?
Anybody knows what home leave's all about, give us a shout.
Yeah.
Okay, so his mom had actually visited him right before he bailed out on jail. And she had learned that he ended up selling all of his belongings to fellow inmates.
So she's like, okay, something's up.
Yeah, so she was warning the prison, hey, this is a red flag. My son is known for skipping out on home leaves and stuff. Don't let him out of here.
Oh my God.
Because he sold all his stuff, and that's pretty suspicious to me. But they let him out anyway.
Yeah, don't trust a mom who probably knows your son really well. But...
Yeah, right? And so she's mad. I told you guys that this was going to happen. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay, so now he's escaped, right? Runs away.
Yeah.
He used a birth certificate from another inmate and got a passport, and he traveled to Mexico and then to Singapore.
Okay.
Where he did some bad shit.
Again?
Oh, he did some bad shit in Singapore.
Oh, no.
So March 8th, 1995, he arrives in Singapore at the Changi airport. And he ends up befriending somebody by the name of Gerard Lowe, who is a brewery chemical engineer from South Africa.
Brewery chemicals.
How awesome does
Right?
that job sound?
Yeah, you just work in a brewery? That sounds pretty great.
I know. I guess Gerard was coming to Singapore to, like, buy some cheap equipment or something.
All right.
You know, he's going shop for his profession.
Yeah.
So they become friends in the airport, and John suggests that they share a hotel room to save money. And Gerard's like, all right, sounds like a good plan. I'm so glad I met you here.
Mm-hmm.
They book room 1511 at Riverview Hotel.
Okay.
So here is what John claims happened that night that they shared a room.
Okay.
John claims that Gerard woke him as he was sleeping, and Gerard was half naked and smiling and touching John's butt. So John freaks out because he had experienced unwanted sexual advances from men because he was in jail a lot.
Okay.
So he freaked out and bludgeoned him with a hammer.
That's a reasonable escalation. The fuck?
But this is John's, like, this is what he confesses, like, his recount of the story.
Mm-hmm.
But it probably isn't the actual story.
Yeah, because it's his words.
Yep. After he bludgeons Gerard to death, John calls the front desk in the morning and asks to have Gerard's name removed from the hotel room.
I really thought you were going to say ask them to come up and clean the room.
I've got a mess.
There is stuff everywhere.
Oh, man, can you imagine?
The sticky mess.
Ugh.
Especially
We
after
didn't
butt
need-
stuff.
Oh,
Sorry.
we didn't
Too
need
much.
that adjective.
Sticky?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too much.
Okay,
Sorry.
so he tells the front desk that he had kicked out Gerard because he was homosexual.
Okay.
Why would you tell the front desk that?
Here's another question. If
Yeah.
you're like, you were in prison and you don't like gay stuff or whatever, like you're really against that, why are you asking another man to stay with you in a hotel room?
Because he wants to murder him.
Another strange
Because
man.
his story isn't what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why.
Your story's full of holes, John.
And Erin's poking them there one by one.
What is this, Swiss cheese?
She's got on her goddamn detective hat.
Yeah, I do.
But solid point. Really good point.
Thanks.
So, John ends up hopping a plane on March 11th, and he flies to Bangkok.
I can't say Bangkok without giggling.
You're going to love a later one that I have to say.
Anyway.
March 13th of 95, a pair of legs severed at the knees was found in a black plastic bag floating off Clifford Pier, which is close to the hotel.
Okay.
So he hops a plane on the 11th, and on the 13th,
They find legs.
they find legs in a plastic bag. 3 days later, a pair of thighs and a torso emerge from the same area, all in plastic.
Are the thighs separate from the torso?
Yeah, like they were all in different baggies.
Okay. That's fucking awful.
Yeah. The police could only confirm that the body was a Caucasian person, but Gerard's wife had reported him missing, and she ends up flying to Singapore and identifying the body parts as him.
Oh, that's awful.
But his arms and his head were never found. So, in John's testimony later, he claims that after he had bludgeoned Gerard to death, he had called a British friend to help come dispose of the body. So John says, like, his British friend showed up and John went to his friend's hotel while his friend dismembered the body and did all that stuff. Like, he had no idea it happened or where he put the body or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And the police were like, well, who's this friend that you're talking about? And he's like, I'm not going to disclose who that is because he knows my family and he'll go after my family if I rat him out.
Snitches get stitches.
Snitches get stitches.
But also, he's just lying. There was no one else
Oh,
involved.
he's totally lying. I guess what the overall theory is that Gerard was sitting down, like, writing a shopping list or something.
Mm-hmm.
And John took this hammer and bludgeoned him to death right then and there. And he forced him into the tub, or he brought him over to the tub or something and, like, dissected him. And then he packaged him up in the little baggies, and then he cleaned the whole bathroom, like, spick and span. And then he sat down and, like, practiced signing Gerard's name, like his signature and stuff, and he took all of his credit cards.
Oh.
So he was trying to steal his identity and his money. And he did. He took the money and he, like, bought some tickets to some orchestra or something, and then he hopped a plane and went to Bangkok.
Are you going to treat yourself?
I guess. I don't know exactly how they got that story of the accounts for that day. But
I feel like when you check out, though, they're, like, at your room within a couple of hours to clean it to get the next person in.
yeah, but supposedly he cleaned the room really well.
Ugh.
Like,
alright.
he had cleaning supplies and stuff. I don't fucking know. Anyway, so he goes to Bangkok, and then he ends up flying from Bangkok to fuck it, That's the one I was excited to tell you.
That's a good one.
I love it. On March 15th. So this is like, what, 4 days?
He did it on the 13th.
Oh, less than. Oh, he flew out on the 13th.
Oh, he did it on the 11th.
Yeah. He's zipping around the galaxy here.
He really is.
I know. So March 15th, he's flying to fuck it, and he befriends a mom and a son on the plane.
No.
Who are from Canada. The son's older. Not that makes it any better, because it's still sad, but, like, he's, like, I don't know,
he's
like
not a
20s
kid.
or something, yeah. And they were named Sheila and Darren Damoud.
Okay.
And so he befriends them. They end up going to the same hotel, and they check into Nilly's Marina Inn into separate rooms, but the rooms were across the hall from each other. I don't think they requested it. I don't know. Maybe they did. But happenstance, I'm sure he followed them.
That's what happenstanced.
Yep. And so the mother and the son are seen the next morning eating breakfast at the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're never seen or heard from again.
Ugh.
John ends up calling the front desk that day, and he asks to have his room switched to the mother and son's room because he says they left and he would pay for the bill. And they were like, okay. And they switched his room.
And that's fine. Like, they didn't have to check out. You can
no
check.
question.
Sir, you stranger, you can check out for them.
Yep.
That's not
As long
suspicious
as he
at all.
pays the bill.
Oh, God.
Isn't that weird? What the hell's going on here? Okay, so March 19th, John ends up checking out, so he's there for a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
And he flies back to Singapore. So on that day, the mom and son duo, their skulls are found in a disused tin mine.
Tin mine?
Tin mine. I don't know if it's like literally you mine tin. Do you make tin?
I don't know. I mean, tin is a metal. Maybe it's...
I was thinking...
Tin. Sorry.
Tin. I was thinking it was like a recycling area because disused tin, but then mine.
Yeah,
throws it
mine
off.
is different.
Yeah.
Either way, that's pretty awful to have your skulls found anywhere.
Exactly. And I think it was like a genuine mine type of situation because I read the word shaft and that is associated with mine.
Yep.
Okay.
God, I'm like a 12-year-old boy.
Shaft. Okay, so a torso and 2 legs and 2 arms were also found, but they were found further away, 6 miles away.
2 legs or 2 sets of legs?
No. 2 legs and 2 arms, like
Alright.
a single set
Okay.
of each, and a torso. They were found along a road 6 miles away 5 days later.
Ugh. Along a road.
Yep. The bodies were so decomposed that the Royal Thai Police had to use dental records to identify them.
Mm.
The torso, the arms, and the legs were Sheila's, the mom.
Mm-hmm.
And then, obviously, both the skulls were both of them, but Darren's body was never found.
Oh my God.
Oy, isn't that sad? So messed up.
That
Anyway,
means there's a body somewhere out there.
that somebody hasn't found.
Yeah.
Okay, so John was suspected of many other murders, not just these.
Jeez.
For example, either in Mexico or the UK somewhere, he had met a financial advisor named Timothy McDowell, and this guy ends up going missing. And 21,000 pounds ends up getting transferred from Tim's account to John's after this Tim guy goes missing.
That's not suspicious at all.
Pretty fucking slick. They suspect that he was murdered in his sleep and then chopped up and thrown in crocodile-infested water.
Ugh.
I don't know why they suspect that, but
Yeah. That's
he wasn't like actually convicted of it. It's just like theory. These are all like theoretically.
It's just that he happened to get a lot of money from this guy, and he's also missing.
Yep. And then another one is in San Francisco for the murder of a homosexual prostitute by the name of Tom Wegner in March of '94. Tom's body was chopped up and drained of blood, and he was found in a dumpster.
Aww.
I guess maybe this guy went to...
I almost asked why he was drained of blood, but then I remembered he's a butcher.
Yeah.
Or he learned how to butch. Or
Yep.
Butch.
Learned how to butch.
He learned how to butch meat.
Ugh. So on March 9th, 1995, John ends up getting arrested in the Singapore airport. His name was on a wanted list for the murders, or his like alias, because he'd been flying around with that other guy's name and passport and had been lying and saying he was somebody else.
Yeah.
And so he flew around with the same passport, and they were like, yo, you're coming with us. And while they had him in the interview room with the police, he ends up smashing glass, and he slits his wrist in a suicide attempt.
Oh my God.
But he ends up getting treated. They take him to a hospital, and he lives.
I mean, good, but also,
Yeah.
fuck you.
Yeah, like, what the fuck ever. So the police find a bunch of passports of all of the 3 deceased people, 2 fake passports, all of, like, their stolen credit cards and everything. Like, he had been killing people to take their money, essentially, is what he was doing. And, like, steal their identities
Yeah.
so that he can keep skipping town.
That's fucked up.
They also found a hammer weighing 3 pounds, a battery-operated...
That's as much as his heroin with Wade.
Yeah, he likes the 3-pound things.
Yeah.
A battery-operated stun gun.
Oh.
Yeah. Or one article called it an electroshock weapon.
Sounds the same.
Yeah. A can of mace, handcuffs, thumb cuffs.
Oh.
What do you do with thumb cuffs?
I feel like I could slip my thumbs out of some thumb cuffs.
Yeah, you could. Yours are super bendy. 4 knives and a sharpening stone. So this guy has full-on fucking murder kit with him.
Oh my god.
Yeah. John is taken to trial, and he goes through claiming that Gerard's death was self-defense, like I had claimed earlier.
Yeah.
He also claims that he had never killed the mom and son duo.
He just happened to have all their fucking cards and shit.
Right?
They gave them to me and allowed me to check them out of their room.
Yeah, this fucking asshole, right? Like, come on. It's so obvious he did this shit.
Yeah.
But he claims that the only reason he came back to Singapore from fuck it was because...
Every time.
I'm sure it's like Phuket or something, but I like to say
Probably.
fuck it. So he claims the only reason he returned to Singapore was to clear his conscience of Gerard's death.
What?
Because he says he did it in self-defense, and so he claims that he came back to Singapore to be caught so that he can tell his story. But he didn't.
No, he didn't.
He thought he was something hot,
Yeah.
and he got caught.
What an asshole.
So the investigation finds that all 3 bodies were dismembered by the same person
Uh-huh.
because they used the same skill and techniques to, like, chop them up.
Yeah, so his, oh, my friend did it
Yeah.
story is out the window.
Well, it's bullshit. And, like, people testified. They were like, yeah, no, this is how he was taught to, like, chop them. I don't know if they testified or if it was, like, report accounts or whatever. But, like, this is how he was taught to chop them up, and he was really good at it. And you would have to be skilled to chop somebody up like that. Like, that's not just a hacking. You knew what you were doing.
Ugh.
Yeah. And then to package it in plastic.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's
so
fucked up.
John ends up getting sentenced to death by hanging in Singapore.
Wow. Good.
For his crimes. Yep. So April 19th, 1996.
They let him out on home leave so he could say goodbye to his family.
Singapore's a little more tough.
That's
They didn't let
good.
him out. 1 year later, John was escorted to the private gallows with 3 other prisoners. He was given the opportunity to speak with a priest and given his last meal, which he chose pizza and hot chocolate.
Oh, that sounds gross together.
That's so fucking gross. I have a confession to make. The only reason I chose this story was because I was going through the list of last meals and I saw pizza and hot chocolate and I was like, only a fucking monster would eat those 2 together.
That's a pretty good story. And also, yeah, that's some
Fucked up,
psychopathic
Yeah,
fucking last
you don't
meal.
eat pizza and hot chocolate. Anyway,
No.
so 6 a.m., he's hooded. By the way, this is all speculation because they're private gallows.
Yeah.
Like, no one's allowed to go in there. But basically, I'm sure a guard was like, this is exactly what happened.
Yeah, the executioner is like, this is how it always happens.
Yeah, every time. So 6 a.m., he's hooded and led to the gallows and hanged. He's left to hang for 20 minutes, and then the body is taken down and given to the family.
Mm-hmm.
John left a note. He left a lot of notes, and he can't write. He did not have very good writing skills because he dropped out of school, remember?
Oh, yeah.
So bear with me because I wrote it word for word.
Oh.
And then as I was writing it, I was like, oh, he means this word.
I'm ready.
And I would try to put like parentheses.
Sick.
Okay, so he writes, 1 day poor, 1 day reach. He means rich.
Uh-huh.
Money fills the pain of hunger, but what will fill the emptiness inside? I think he means money fills the pain of hunger, and he spelled pain as in like a window pane.
Oh,
Okay.
all right.
I know that love is beyond me, so do I give myself to God, the God that has betrayed me?
Oh.
You may take my life for what it's worth, but grant those I love peace and happiness. Can I be a person again? Only time will tell. No,
No, you
time
can't.
will not tell.
Because you're going to die.
Yeah.
You cannot be a person again.
Jerk. He wrote a bunch of other notes, but that one was like considered his like final last words or some shit.
Oh.
That was the story of the tourist from Hell. La la la. Oh, he was like the first Westerner to actually be hanged in Singapore too for his crimes.
Oh,
So
good
it was
for
like a
him.
huge tabloid sensation over in Britain.
Mm.
People were all about it. So I'm sure there's tons of stories on this. I'm sure there's other podcasters that did way better justice to the story. But you know what? This is our style, and this is what we're about, so that's what you got.
We've said it before, and we'll say it again. We are for entertainment purposes only.
Not coming at you fast with the hard facts.
Yeah, hard and loose. Nope, fast and loose. Wow, that was a good story.
Yeah, I liked them both this time. Well, I like them both all the time.
I never like yours, but mine are always spot on.
Yours is terrible. So what do we want to tell our listeners?
We want to tell them
to rate us.
Yep.
And review us, please, on iTunes.
And subscribe.
Yes, pretty please.
And we appreciate you, motherfucker.
I appreciate you, motherfucker. Email us if you want to talk to us, isgdpodcast@gmail.com. Tweet at us, isgdpodcast. Anything else we want to do? Oh, hey, we had a fun idea. If you guys want to get some holiday cards from us, email us, and we will make sure to set you up with those.
Oh, yeah. Give us your mailing address, and we'll send you a little holiday card.
Yeah. Keep it in the spirit, because now it's November, you know.
Yeah.
It's going to be holidays in no time.
Which I should get on making those.
Yep. That'd be fun.
That will be fun.
Maybe we'll send you a little gift with it. We don't know.
We don't know, because that's the future.
Nobody can tell the future.
Time traveling right now is hard to predict.
So hard to predict. We love all your Twitter shout-outs. It's really fun to read. We get so excited. So keep them coming. Send us the love. Send us the reviews, and the reviews. Tell a friend about us. Help spread the word of our podcast.
Yeah,
We
even
want
if
more
you're like,
listeners.
listen to these really annoying girls, and then maybe they'll like it.
And we love you.
Bye!
Later.
And if you're all caught up on our podcast, stick around for this promo from one of our favorites.
Hey everyone, this is Sarah from Good Nightmare Podcast, a podcast where I like to talk about all things strange and unusual, whether it's mysteries, historical crimes, or fairy tale origins. I hope you'll come along for the ride and join me as we delve into some spooky tales. Happy listening.